kalungsig sa Merkidarogoy, nakakatiang tukubet sa Lobanggela special guest, mong suakal mo syukangi, emerkong kita almutal mo malmol marcel los aklwase, dalawang Lobanggela ruba, ke makarangadore ng serngi. Melal sil se ngaring galgestergit, wala po to, so muala baro tangara alalakal malulu. We're gonna pray first. Let's pray. Waisa ruba kimaral merkar el alsils. Emeral wat kerkau wasi kamaral masaul el Dios emeral batikar umar kamam. Kamaral diom das sumlat kamam rabek el sils. Ruba kama aigel klungnya lama ngaraw daswema maral di mer kamam. Making artiang eruba que mrenga sule memral monguti al time el mescau mosu kuma meruba kalmo o mesubat tikinge meloki wa aigel ku testimony rarad ma atikinge melngara eda luukle matire ke ruba aigel ki bom kau yu ai sara de longala melonga sireng al kawa amgat mokkel kira laklangar kamam agi merka emral lotar saiga roku lo bankle la de soladam Ma Dios el ngalka, Ma Dios el edauring. Amen. So this morning I have my special guest with me, and she's from where? What's your name, and can you introduce yourself and where you come from?
I'm Victoria. I'm 19 years old and I'm from Colorado Springs.
Nga Victoria, ngam lara Colorado Springs. Why you're here in Palau?
I'm here with the missions group YWAM Youth with a Mission. We're on a 6-month missions trip. We started in Hawaii, went to Mexico, and now we're doing our outreach here in Palau.
Wow. Nga ngartia ngara mission outreach sa partra school ngartia gidal adan klela awaiwam youth of the mission tirkam lara Hawaii kona engarse mora Mexico outreach tir ngara school ngara outreach tira Mexico el atangar belau. How long you been here in Palau, Victoria?
We've been here about a month.
Oh, ngartia 1 month lang. So what makes you before I ask you about how did you come into mission. You say, are you Christian? Do you know God?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you come to know God?
Oh, that's a good question. So growing up, I was raised by Christian parents, but I think just recently I've just taken that faith as my own. So I've always growing up in a Christian school, learned about God, known about God, but just especially through this DTS, through the teachings and through the conversations I've had with people, been able to take up this faith as my own.
So you said you grew up from a Christian parents. Nga ngamlo ko raw dumal madala ka Kristiyano to marangararubak. Mga ngamal ko raw nga lumas may iglesia. Do you go to church?
Yes, ma'am.
Merkong ilang arteg del mission. So, tell me about your life story. What really, did your parents tell you about this mission, or did you hear from somebody, or how? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
About myself. Well, I was adopted when I was about a week old. My birth mother had me when she was about 16 years old. So she felt, I have actually recently gotten connected with her, which has been wonderful.
Wow.
But she shared with me that she felt the Lord was asking her to give me up for adoption, and growing up, that was definitely very hard for me. I struggled with not feeling important, not feeling cared for. You know, if my birth mother didn't want me, you know, how could I feel wanted?
How old are you when you were adopted?
Very young, about a week old, but my
Okay.
parents.
Nga nga wasay, nga na dimle tal sander almel, emerkong emerodala moratara family, adala la dimle trim elol margil mali. Mang kaki del meklo markong mal der katokoy. Engel maral birth mother tamaka odangay. So mal wase ndim lahal be tak langar nyak mal memory. You said about you got connected with your birth mother, but it has not been easy growing
Yeah.
up.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
Um. Yeah. It's actually. Um. I feel very blessed because even though I had those struggles with understanding, why did this happen? Why did God let this happen? I feel like,
Did you
um,
question God about that? Mm.
yeah, but um, I felt like God was wanting me to be with the family that I have, and they love me very much, and they have always cared for me, and I felt very blessed to grow up in a Christian home.
Did you kind of blame God for that in the beginning, or you never blame God?
Yeah, I think I didn't understand because that was something that really hurt me, and I felt very lost, and I didn't understand
Mm.
why he would allow that to happen. But
Mm.
I think through getting reconnected to my birth mom and hearing her story, hearing her life, and just the struggles that she was going through during that
Mm.
time, I felt like God was protecting me and
Wow.
brought me into the family that He did so that I could grow up with nurturing parents and loving
Wow.
parents.
Mm. Maseng mlarnya sereng arngil mledir kalgora ah mukur tarungul kira la aruba ma dirkal dimna kay gid el cloud ngengil wasay ngang milgara ngaramang mlo marodala ndi segidral kanek ni madalal siralut el mom siral batigra dalal el bolda que ya dalala ma ay sra story el trim el markil el balli emlo ay sringil wasing raul mang mle kilingel rol ngangalkel merodar ngi mangmlo orngia cloud ngeringi wasing mbay mlo rol ngara ngil tulungal ka. So I'm sharing with them about mm, reconnecting with your mother. It really helps you to understand the ways, even probably was ways in God's plan in that.
Yeah.
With that, you say your parents are Christians. When you came to know yourself as you grow up, your parents were devoted Christians.
Yes, they
Mm.
were. Um, it was hard though because I had those struggles with being adopted.
How did you know that you're adopted? Did they tell
Yeah,
you?
they told me. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, they were very open about it, which I appreciate.
Yes.
But I think growing up, that created some division with me and my parents. Me not feeling like I was supposed to be there. Me just questioning my worth, and so that created a
Mm.
lot of fighting, a lot of
Mm.
um, me pushing them away.
Mm. Nga waiso seng terkari dali amal Cristiano di sera lora el meklom nani ay gay dal tokorak langari el blol si sapringi il dim la kalbiyot mang ngunda so senga ka ro dal mang ngari ay gel blol si saprak langari ulko ay gay den ngwal blol ko tuirang kal damal madala lol magro ringi ndi terkal ngal damal madala la Cristiano el batigar ringi manguligi ay kay kita blol dururi mal me pe halbe otlen segi al bor lo tenga el wasei marodala en mlo o mdangay e marko ngay kay kita blol si sapringil to korak langari ndi tay kita imol to el kita adar belawa blo el lo mar tergide تاخذ ويسر من الكذا الباسي كامل رودل I'm sharing this in Palawan and I'm kind of elaborating it. At the same time, I'm sharing it that with us Palawans, most of the time when we adopt a kid, we don't want to let them know,
Mm,
and they hide it until they're really old. What do you say about this? Do you prefer or would you think it's better for parents to tell their kid while they're young, or it's better when they're old?
Hmm, that's a good question. I think it would depend on the situation, because like my aunt, she was adopted as well, and she ended up meeting her birth mom, but that didn't go well. They didn't get along, so
When
that
she grew
caused a
up?
lot of hurt. Yeah, when she grew up, so that caused a lot of hurt. So I think it really depends on the child and the situation, because I think it's important, to know, but also that can cause some questions and some wondering, why did this happen?
Nga say, kuket keringi tegi del tora omro del toilen. Ndia kalbeot sel bodo ngera uriula. Nga say ako kora dipendra omro la tangaringi ya mom ngera uriula ma amaklo ma ako timike kare to ay sertir. Mingo ay sa story ra antiringi. Lwa saying dimna kalo ngem aklo redil mitrangay kita mo o kaptengi mangal maral mil ali mal mlo kasi barngul dimla kal balungi la dalong ali mal mlo kasi barngul seral bolot ngel sengarodar el alklo redil. It's interesting, Tori, because I find it that it's more for us here. It's more harmful and more hurtful, more worse for a person to be adopted while they're young and they hide it until they're old. My experience with my sister's daughter didn't know until in her high school,
Oh.
and they didn't tell her until she found out for herself,
Oh.
because from high school to college you have to uh, get I think the birth certificate,
Oh.
and that's a requirement. And she found out that she was adopted, and that really hurt her a lot. So ako ay serangkal toril kira la ako kita other belale nga hindi wasing adipen ako ti sel decide nga parents, hindi ako ay serangkal story ra ni serangkal المرة المراكلور nga so la dimna kalodeng el mol ara high school el ara college ser al bara college sindim la kalodeng hindi ka un manglo madengay nglo require gel to kasi birth certificate mangamlo ra kortal mol mo o malara birth certificate tringi ser albong e abol bati abol o mesertial birth certificate ngod ankle la dalal madamala ngod mang tiagit self mal lo hurt mal lo mukor tarungu ringil toy raklanga ringil kire la adala makaro ringil madama lo makaro ringil hindi dim nakkaril basay mang makarangangkal biological mother ringil segi del melala mingan nis nga kamna mosme erelmat mandir ka ha time el kung adu ringil kirel tiang. So I was from talking to you, I was sharing, how my niece found out was going to the court to get her birth certificate, and that she found out. She found out by her birth certificate that the mother was different, not her, the mother that is raising her, and the father. And so from that, she really got hurt. But the thing is, she has passed away really young in her 30. She died in her 36. And I've been wondering about did she ever uh, talk to her birth mother? I really don't know that. So, but the reaction from when she found out was very hurtful. Really, um, I never, I never asked her how deep was the hurt. So, but you said about the way, it's really depends. So with you, of course, you said it affected you, your life. But the good thing is that you reconnect with your birth mother. So how is your relationship with your birth mother?
Oh, it's wonderful. So my parents, they personally felt like they, wanted to tell me that I was adopted, but have me wait until I turned 18 to meet her, and if it was my personal decision,
I see.
so that they allowed me to have that maturity and decide on my own. So when I decided, I felt I was comfortable to meet her, and
When you're
um,
18.
when I was 18, and it was wonderful. She is a very strong woman of God,
Wow.
and she just has a remarkable story. So I got to meet her and really hear her heart and hear her struggles and hear just what God has done in her life, which has been so just inspiring. So I think us being able to talk to one another, to hear that I forgave her, that I didn't hold anything against her, and to just connect in that way was very beautiful.
That's wonderful. Ang adamal madala moro ring saralo ay sering wasay hindi tamil erel waseng mo 18 e mer ko nga mega decision ring wasay momalil tal wasay ka mo mesada angkal mil ala wendia. So they gave you a choice of when you turn 18 whether you want to see your biological mother. Oh,
Yes,
mung
ma'am.
segi deng malil tel mo 18 argil deng malil tel waseng mo mesra dalal mesra albal el batigar dalal el gada du eng mlo medengel waseng gada dalal mal mesisil kristiano mal ngarnya gel alak lang argil blo ay srengal ngalgil. It's a really wonderful to hear that you met your mom and that she was able to share her life story. So you
Absolutely.
have a good relationship with her now.
Yes.
Was it only one time you met her, or you have met her
Mhm.
several times?
Yes, she lives about an hour away from me, so
Wow.
I've been able to reconnect with my biological siblings, my aunts and
Oh,
uncles.
I see.
So I feel very blessed. I feel that God has given me two families that love me and care for me.
And your mom, biological mother, is married, or?
Yes, she had, in just the past couple years, had gotten married to this wonderful man named Paul. So they
Wow.
have this beautiful family. Yeah.
So ang dalal, ang maral milalia, the tal 1 mile, the 1 mile ra aridel tel keringi, mga se mnamit tatirgal bebi ringi ngalagel ang dalal ra taraat, mga se yung tabay mal kadado ang wila dalong alir el amang ngomnas ang mal wase nga kar elang at tu family nga kang namoy family nga ya the maangkal ilang kay kita maral dalala malungil adal ila dalar el al time. So that's really wonderful story of your life that you share with us. And how did you come to the mission, this mission, Tori? Can you tell me how what inspires you?
Yeah. So before, just at the beginning of this
Excuse me.
year, I was very much struggling and having a hard time. I was in an abusive relationship. I was living with a guy who just very much mistreated me. And sorry, do you need to translate?
Yeah. Wasa wala Albert tel mission en tiagi da klangari waseng wa amlo makitak langar ngi yang mlarnya adal da kalobol ke ngarnya da longlir ningal ada dim la kalungir ngi malme kora amle makit ngi nya malo sigel nya mal kora amlo o makitak langar ngi mong malmo segi del time el toka problem ngi.
So I tried to bring him to church. I tried to fix the relationship, but um, it just was. I was just very unhappy and just felt very uncared for. And there was a woman who had taught at the school that I had previously gone to, and she started reaching out to me and just asking me to go out to lunch with her, brought me to church with her, and she was just speaking a lot of identity and hope over me and my future.
Wow.
Because I felt very, very lost in that situation.
Masengkal adal dilakal maka man me makiterngi mang norsel point rak lang aring malosi ka ngeso ngwaseng na trial malarang kal adal moray kelesya trial helper ngil malukok mo mlo rak lang aring mo ngilak lang ari hindi dim lakal sabi el mal memory ngala ngwasem lan nga imor adil el mitter ngi blol kapate engkar adil ablo el المغض أضو أرنيا ويل تغرق لغرني إذا قل ملابل أول إنبايت رني ملاري المولانس مغض أضو أويل تغول كده لغراتوري.
And so she just would often send me Bible verses or just encouraging words and speak to me about how God had greater plans for my future than the situation I was in. And she had given me encouragement to leave him, which was very scary for me. But I felt as if God put her in my life so that I could have the courage to do that.
Songar dila blebl ol bikal blol senda بعض السلمونيل تين لا Dios di milulu lo bangkel mal encourage singil basay ang tinakal dilunil waseng bay kiram mo oroy dan kal adal sumang may sekla makitab lagar dalel bedul gaw mang nor segi del time al mlombas warngi al toy so you left him mang maray lang tilaw dal mo oroy dan kal at so after that what happened?
I was definitely still struggling. I didn't know how to process some of the things that he had done to me. I fell into a depression. I was drinking a lot, smoking a lot. I just felt very lost.
وسيسر البول dan kal aden direkal mlo sel mlo mo teklangar niya ko ram lo tekalo nila say makarang wal ko ra sing mlo tekalo nila sing makarang mangmlo malimaro me malam adako le emru like baby rat ko el ko ram ngasangar ngi meng mlo ko tekalo nila klaseng makarak langar ngi.
But I remembered looking back on my life the times that I have felt happiest and most connected to God because, in that time I knew that I needed him and I knew I needed to reconnect to him. And so looking back on my life, the times that I have felt closest to God are when I'm in good Christian communities. And so one of my friends was doing YWAM, and I started asking him questions and asking him about his experiences. And so I felt led to apply to YWAM and pursue that community.
Wow. Wase segidral bol lom tabrak langanil wase ay gel time lo korak man mo ngilak langar ngi segidal time lo korak anek telo bangel adios mang ngomdas surngil wase sel time lo kora kanek telo bangel sel kora ol ngar ngul mak langar ngi maw the sel moraruba en ngarnya ngot al ngarare ngarngil mo kora mongot ngarnya bud ndi hal bay sel klangar ngi salo bangel ngal ad malubeng momru la toil ngar omli mrom ma bebi la toil nga dia halo dura ngula dio samal ne kakarosa ngaseng ulgi usay giving mlom tabar ngi wasay koradim na raw the swell mangarar ngule sola em tigar ngai gitel man ra friend ngi nartel mission ra youth with the mission. So did you talk to him or he talked to you about youth with the mission?
I reached out to him because he had been posting on social media about some of his experience. So I reached out just asking some questions. I was curious about it.
Mlo mga tatu orang kay kita friend ringi mlo mo keringi atel kita mission.
Yeah.
So how did you get into? I mean, with YWAM, did you have the money right away to pay for the school, or did you do something with it?
No, I did not. As we're talking about like ways that God speaks to us, I think with me a way that God speaks to me is by giving me peace about about situations where he leads me. And so when I signed up for YWAM, he gave me a piece that he would provide the money. So I sent out an email. Sorry, do you want to?
No,
Oh,
you
okay.
send the email to people?
Yep, to family, relatives, friends. And I only sent out one email, and I didn't think about fundraising for the rest of the time. And God just brought money in and gave me a piece that he would take care of it.
Nga masada rabud ang peace. Nga say sera ko lulu ilkirel tel mo involve mo channel take the mission school akmil lulu emro ko nga malmlo mal asur selbut radio sel ngararunguk alwa saying tiang awil bukurur ngi mga saying milulu mal ngari abut angil kirel so la emlo sendra ma send dimne email one email si send out mlo sendra iya wana el email al tilobda مرقون السيد البابير للأسي الطبدي adiós samara الملوكي السيد الأبابيرني en hasta telnganya udo del mesoism through that the money start coming in.
Yes,
So was it enough to cover your school or
it was.
just like that?
Yeah.
So was that a confirmation that it was the right thing for you to do?
Absolutely. I think reflecting back, at least in my life, when God is leading me or guiding me to something, he makes it. He opens doors. He makes a way. He makes it easy, to, to pursue that. And so I felt like that was confirmation that the money came so easily and so quickly, and people were so willing to give, that this is where God wanted me to be.
I think it's important for us to talk about that. That you pray, and all of a sudden, when you were praying and giving that heart desire to God, you had that sense of peace. And from that sense of peace, you gave it to God, and you know that God is peace. In Palawan, we say Buddha, Buddha, sense of peace. That the Lord will provide, and the provision came, and that was the confirmation for
Yes,
the school.
absolutely.
And did the school, you have to wait for the school to respond to you? Did you apply and you have to wait for the school?
Yes, actually, another really cool confirmation for me was when I applied, almost less than a week later, they had responded and were interested in getting in contact with me. And so I wasn't waiting for a long time. It was almost just instant.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
confirmation.
Mal tiamal ko nga siring at tara kuk experience sal do albangan ngil wasay. Mbud sa long lolulu ang bud mlorar ngul Dios sang ilumsang. El muto kong a confirmation am natal school el tiram lulu o langit radio sel mo el gira our students sertir. Within 1 week, hindi na tal Sunday, tel school la respondal morning. Mangilwa angir til wasay oy aki accept kal ma school. Direklo bangel sel babier aba udo da lultabdi el kira lang eso ya udo da maral mlo sab el soy sab el kira el tel school. So I'm sharing about the confirmation of the peace of God, the confirmation of the school confirming and accepting you, and the other confirmation is the open door with the money coming in.
Yeah.
So that is a really interesting story that God has been leading you. But I would like to ask you another question is, what in your 3 months school phase, what is the main thing, the word or teaching that God has been speaking to you?
There's a verse, Jeremiah 29:11, that my parents have been praying for me throughout my life, and I think in DTS, being able to see how God has moved in my life, and just the healing and restoration that He's brought me, and how in this DTS I've discovered so much of myself and discovered so much about God, being able to have the the now bird's eye view that God knows His plans for me and that He will
Wow.
take care of me.
Malwasay waise tingnan na school ya adarablil mal cristiano dire kalmululu ilkirel etial bada salbol el sharingia wasay tegidel nga school lo lulu at yung samaran namok o mga adu orngi lo kiwaro ab tokorolel madire kaltial bada sa do you know it by heart or do you want me to read it or
I can say it and then you can
yeah
read it.
yes.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to
Yes.
give you a hope and a future.
Wow. That's Jeremiah 11, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Sel nga ra Jeremiah ra lu tiu klol biong la ra tru matal ki karel ba sakmula si adia sama tiang aba sel bal ngilul Dios sawal blolong at otur ngilwa saruba akmo abangge me masaba akkargaw akmo to man lagi roguil belu el التركلميو الكلتير المورني اندي كميو ابيا بوم ابيا بقول مالر كميو اندي دي بوم في كميو اندي بلالس لغور كميو ابي مو وكبقاقلا wasa Dios samo obangge mem sa akkarkaw emotoma like rokul belu el tira aktira klamiw el morngi no segal belu el Dios ul makadongar rikid el morngi a Dios samo sa akkargid emo o waseng mo sa akkargid raikel lo makadongar rikid el belu alu tokol do morngi ako marala say this word was say the Lord says, uh, He's gonna be with us and He's gonna protect us. He will help us. And then He said, and He will destroy any place that will.
I think it's 29:11.
29.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's 29:11. I'm reading a wrong verse. Mosuba sa tialbad sa ngara 29 luma etulbad sa ra trumatang akmul wasay aruba akmo hindi nga kaltang ang arngi awdaswa kalgiriw hindi ka luldas algira la makngit eng ba yuldas al klungyal el maureng arngi algira langar madad klabsay nga siya Dios akmo dingil tang ang arngal do swel gired. Well, that is a profound. He alone has a plans for us. You know, in the job, like the boss already laid out the plans and said, this is what I want you to do. So we follow it. But it says here, God has a plans for us. Wase akmal ko ngel wase ang diwa sel mga rawrer yabo serkit amna layout ta plan selgire da kel sola bo dorula endi tiang akmula sia Dios ay kel ludha swell ma rungulel lombandas surgit aklung yal ngase dia haluldas sulgira la makit dia haluldas it's not a plan that is to destroy us right and it is for our own good. It really said it is plans to prosper, yeah, not to destroy us. Mal bakataklat nga la Dios sulwasay ay gel ludaswela Dios ma mokter ngil gire makaw mga aklong niya hindi akal bololo malargid klong niya gira lak aklang argid ma ngarmadatal time. It is a beautiful verse. It's a plans that He has to for our future that is for our well-being, not to destroy us. That is wonderful. Thank you for sharing this beautiful verse. What do you say or what do you think God is saying to you at this time in your time in outreach? Is there any word that you want to share?
I think just this verse as I also look to the future, as I look to my plans after outreach, my plans, um, yeah, in my passions and what He's taught me, and I feel like I'm just so thankful to be here because when I think about my life and the struggles I've been through or the things that have happened, even when I have been straying away from God, I've seen His hand and how He's pushed me
Wow.
back to Him. And so now, being on this outreach after being
You have a confidence for
equipped,
the next step.
yes,
Wow. He has given you a tools
yes,
in this whole area of hearing His voice and follow Him. That you have a confidence that God is gonna speak to you for the next step, even though you don't know what's ahead.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but yet it's risky. It's kind of you don't know when you don't know what's ahead. Um, is there a fear or you have a peace or
I think. Hmm, I think something that I've learned is that when God gives me peace about the next step in the next direction, whatever that is, I know that He will allow that to work and allow that
wow,
to prosper, because He's shown that to me just over and over, even coming here,
amen.
just how He has plans that are for my good and for His glory.
Masadal gila la wase tegi del bad sel bilsang mal ngargi uda swel wase al tel ngara school sub madengel wase adios sangaria mokte karngil gila laklangarngi madengel wase mau ay serngi ra next step perngi mang igel blal subase mang rely on the Lord ngol tirak ra rubak el gila la gel roguil ngar madal bolorula. So that's as I translate this in Palawan, I know was say you are confident in that God has taken you through this school that as you walk with Him, you will know because you trust Him to show you what your next step is.
Yes, ma'am.
That's wonderful. And I think that's what we need to do as a believers, that we must learn to hear the Lord and to follow Him.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much, Tori, for your sharing our time, sharing about this whole area of hearing the Lord and his direction, how He leads us, and how He speaks to us. I would like you to pray for young people in this nation that will learn to to come to the place where we have to learn to rely and depend on hearing God and follow His footsteps. Can you
Thank you.
pray?
Okay. God, I just thank you so much for the people of Palau, God. I just pray this verse over them that you know the plans that you have for the people of Palau. You know your heart for them, which is to prosper them and give them hope and peace and guidance. God, I just pray that whoever hears this verse will just feel encouraged and empowered, that you are on their side, that you hear them and see them, God. So I just thank you so much that you know the plans you have for us, the plans to give us hope in the future.
Yes.
And I just pray that that verse will just resonate with whoever needs to hear that today.
Yes.
Amen.
Wai seruba ka kimaral merka meranga sulma say maral ki mo tirak karka ki mo si karkao maral ki bo pati karka ki bo moring serkao mogi tial bad sil ngara tial ngara chiremaya rat alum tulklol biong lo 11 was say ay gelo ko dong emel merkamam ang klung yolam lew da swemel merkamam meruba ka klung yaola Michael mokte karga rubaka di moklung yolam ra aklangar ka mam mangar madamam Bolsa mame rubaka maral masub elol tirak karkaw multuy raka maral wase igel agi multuy raka rubaking maral kimom tikak lungya le kawa das waklungyal gira laklangar kamam kamaral masaw lagi maral lol tergok raka rangayas blur belaw المرقاو مار القام المجيغريل ما مقلو مقمام المقلو الأب مرا لونيتا سيجيبو موسوب لورين السرقاو قلتي رقرقاو كيبو موسوب الملتيرقا مرا رقاو واسيقا داس وقلون يولام كمرا المساو لاكي مرا لونيتا تايكا روغوي لو بانكلي لا ديوس الأدام ما ديوس الغال ما ديوس الإدارين آمين
El Dios, el digan lo sobe, ako muy lo desan le borga. Ako ngel mo oy di kanti, ako ngel mo oy ngalita tu. Luba, el Dios, el digan lo sobe. Ako muy lo danzan le borga. Lupa el Dios, el dingar lo sobe. Ako muy lo danzan